but I was looking for somebody who could help me understand the numbers, as you said so well, understand the story that the numbers were telling me about my business, and understand how my business is working or not working on a different level from a financial aspect, and somebody who can help me, because I've been training for 30 years. I know how to train people. I know how to work with people, all of those things, but I don't necessarily know how to budget a business. Hey, what's up, everybody? That was part of my conversation with Dannielle Hayden, this episode's guest. And do you hate accounting? I know I do. I'm a trainer. I want to train people. I want to spend time with my clients, talking to my other trainers, running my business. I don't want to crunch numbers and do accounting of my business. But if I want my business to take care of me instead of me always slaving and being tied to it, I need to pay attention to those. And let me tell you, I don't want to take the time to learn accounting. I hate it, and I have better uses for my time. So I hired somebody. I got a coach, and it helped me understand my business from a numbers perspective so that I could grow my numbers from the numbers, my business from the numbers that it was giving me. And Dannielle, this episode's guest, has a great way of putting it. She said, so you can try to read the story that your business's numbers are trying to tell you. So there's a lot of great takeaways in this one, and we don't get into the specifics of accounting. We talk about concepts and language that you can understand, and ways that can help you understand it, and ways that can help you use it to help grow your business. So I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Dannielle Hayden. Giants, and find our giant in the great state of Ohio. Is that where you are? Ohio?
Ohio.
Yeah.
Go Bucks.
Yeah, exactly. So are you close to Ohio State?
I'm about 2 hours from Ohio State, but
Okay.
about 10 minutes from the Brown Stadium. So,
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
yeah.
Okay. I'm sure you've heard all kinds of
we hear it
Brown
all the
jokes.
time.
Yeah, yeah.
We love it.
So, hey, you guys are dyed in the Brown fans. I appreciate that. You know, there's something nostalgic about getting behind a team that never really goes all the way. And,
Yeah, right?
I say that as a St. Louisan, after the Blues won their first Stanley Cup ever. So it'll pay off, I guarantee you. But anyway, so we're coming from the great state of Ohio. I got Dannielle Hayden, and she runs a company with what I call your part-time CFO, because most of the listeners of this show are trainers who started their own business, and we know Jack, you know what, about accounting and numbers, and a lot of times we don't even do it. And I was talking to Dannielle before the show. A lot of times I run into people who are in this fitness studio space. They don't know if they're making money. They don't know what's making them money. They don't know how much money they're making. They're not budgeting for taxes, all kinds of issues that can just drive you crazy. Because I can tell you right now, there's nothing more frustrating than pouring all of your heart and your passion and your time and your sacrifices into your business and have nothing to show for it. That is the most frustrating thing in the world. If you're going to put all that time and effort, don't you want something to show for it? If nothing else, time with your loved ones, while your business can run itself. So we're gonna talk about that with Dannielle, because that's exactly what she helps studio owners do, is get their business up and running so the business can support the lifestyle that you want, instead of your business being your lifestyle. So welcome to the show, Dannielle.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited about this podcast. Two of my favorite things are fitness and numbers. So I get to speak both.
Awesome. You are a rare bird, because most people either like one or the other. You don't find many people that like both.
No, you don't. You really don't.
So, I mean, because we were talking before we started recording, you guys have been in business for 5 years, and you do all the discovery calls with the owners. So, and we were talking about the different levels. So let's jump right into that. First of all, let's talk about your company. What's the name? What do you guys do? All of that good stuff.
Yeah, thank you. So the company is Kickstart Accounting. Entrepreneurs hire us to help them with their accounting, and that can look like basic bookkeeping. So we can handle all of the basic bookkeeping for you through analyzing your financials, understanding your numbers, being that financial consultant that is behind you, making those business decisions with you. We can help with budgeting. If you have a bank loan or group of investors, help represent you to those folks as well. So I always tell people we are your back end accounting department. No matter how small or big you are in business, you deserve to have the high level financial analysis of a CFO, and we are determined to bring that to small business owners.
And I think that's a great service. I think there's definitely a void in the marketplace. I think you guys are positioned to crush it, really, because most fitness studio owners, they don't know accounting. They don't want to know accounting. They hate accounting, but they need it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's very common amongst entrepreneurs to, you went to school, you got your certifications, and none of that had to do with accounting. And you're stuck having to run the entire business. And so we really want to take all that accounting off your plate so that you can focus on what you're passionate about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm going to share with you my experience. So I recently hired a guy. I call him Ivan because his name is Ivan. But he has helped me do exactly what you just said. But for me, the biggest hurdle was getting over the fear of exposing my numbers. So how do you get owners to get over that hurdle?
Yeah, we hear that a lot. A lot of these discovery calls, people call me and say, I'm so ashamed. I'm so embarrassed. I can't believe I've waited so long. I mean, we've heard from people after 5-10 years in business. I cannot believe I'm here. We just create a safe space. So we want to be as approachable as possible. We want you to know that you're coming to us with absolutely positively no judgment. We have seen it all. We've heard it all. And we are only here to help you. And we'll never judge you. We'll never criticize you. No question is a stupid question. We're just 100% dedicated to helping entrepreneurs.
That's great. I apologize. That was my general manager sneaking in behind me to grab her lunch. She's leaving for the day. So I really am in my office, in my training studio, running the day-to-day. So and doing the podcast as well. So that's a good point. So the biggest thing that helped me with Ivan was he had me sign it. We signed an NDA, non-disclosure agreement. So that way, that put me at ease much more than I thought, because for me, it was almost like I felt like I was like, I don't know how else to say it, like pulling down my pants in front of them. That's what it felt like.
It is. Yeah, absolutely.
And so it was really scary. And the fact that we signed that NDA, that put me at ease, because I knew that no matter how bad it was, no matter what he thought, he couldn't tell anybody. So do you guys have it like an NDA?
We have a client engagement letter. So every client, as they become a client, we have them, we sign a contract with them that says that we won't disclose any of their financial information, and that we'll keep all of their financial information as secure as possible, because that's a big issue in today's world. But I'm a CPA, and my company has been built on ethics and being there for our clients. And if we spoke about our clients to other clients, or if I spoke about them on a podcast or anything, I mean, the ethical and moral embarrassment of the firm, would be profound. So, my team knows that they keep everything confidential, and I go out of my way to make sure that every client, their information, their story, and their financials are always secure.
Okay. And your goal, after all, is to help them, to like dig in and find out what's happening, talk to them about their goals. Because I know you guys set up a discovery call where you can get all that information and formulate a plan that's customized to them, tailored to them. So I know you guys deal with a lot of that, but in order to really help them, you got to look under every nook and cranny, and that can be really painful for some owners.
Yeah, absolutely. It can be really painful, and we really try to be respectful of every client and go at their speed. So
Mhm.
some clients are like, "I'm ready. Let's get in it. Here's my goals. Be rough with me." And
Mhm.
so, keep me accountable. And so those types of clients, we do. We get on that first discovery
Mhm.
call, we figure out what their goals are, what they need to be held accountable to, and then, if it's a weekly goal, we're emailing them every
Mhm.
week and sending them those reminders. Or if it's a monthly accountability, we're sending those notes and saying, hey, don't forget, this is the goal. Here's where you're measuring to those goals. So, um, we have other clients who, they want a gentler touch. They might not have as many goals. They might not be as ready to jump into bed right away. They want to start a little slower, and so we respect every client and the speed in which they want to get going, and how they want to be held accountable.
Yeah, got it. And and again, just speaking for myself, I know with Ivan, for me, I asked for help for Ivan because I knew I needed it. Because
Mhm.
there were some areas in my business that just weren't performing the way I wanted to perform them, and I had exhausted my knowledge, so I had to come out and get somebody else, and it was really scary. Like I said, it was like kind of exposing myself to him because I was there. There's nothing more intimate than your numbers, right?
Absolutely.
So, but after we did, and after we dug in, and he started, presenting his information to me in ways that I could digest it. Then I was like, then the fear turned to, yeah, let's do this,
Yeah.
and let's get this, ship headed in the right direction and make some corrections, fix some things that are not working, things like that. So it wound up helping me, and it always surprises me in this profession where we are professional coaches to our clients, how many of those coaches don't hire coaches? You
It's
know,
very true.
I know I have a business coach. I have all kinds of coaches, and now I have a financial coach because I can't do it all. And like we were talking before we recorded, it's important, I think, if your business is really going to grow, that you're able to free yourself of the day to day and the mundane task so that you can concentrate on the bigger strategic picture of where you want your business to go.
Yeah, yeah, you need to be able to hand off those tasks so that you can focus on really running your business. I say this all the time, but you don't want the bookkeeping, the financials to be on your to-do list and occupying your headspace. A lot of clients come to me and say, I just feel guilty knowing that I've pushed this on my to-do list every day, every week, every month, and it's still not done. And I have this lagging guilt. And if you're thinking about that, you're not thinking about how you're going to grow your business and how you're going to scale your business. So
Mhm.
it's really important um, to get that off your plate. And here's another thing: we had a client who came to us this fall, and same story. He was scared to bring us on board. He was scared to even have us logging into his accounting system. And then as we got through a few months and we started to show him that there was nothing to be afraid of, right? It was information that he could tolerate in bite-sized pieces. We watched him go from scared and confused. Uh, he just emailed us a few weeks ago and said, I actually look forward to getting these reports from you because I love knowing where I'm at.
Mhm.
And thank you so much for taking the time to help me understand them. Because had you not told me what they even meant, I would have said, she's sending me gibberish. But you took the time to explain what it meant. And now we're doing deeper level analysis for him so that he can keep on digging into his business and figure out what's working and what's not working.
Yeah. Those are all good points. And I will take it even one further. It will help you sleep better at night,
Yeah.
knowing that you've paid your quarterly estimated taxes, or you have enough to pay your taxes or make payroll or whatever it is. And so sitting there just not knowing where you are from, or knowing where your business is from a financial standpoint, will keep you up at night. And then you talk about not being able to function, not being on for your clients, not giving your business the best, your clients your best, your employees your best, all of that good stuff. So this good information. So let's dive right in. We were talking about levels of clients. So you were talking about clients that come to you that don't know if they're making money or not.
Yeah.
So walk us through a typical scenario of something like that, of the person that comes to you and they don't really have a handle on their numbers. They're good at training. They have clients, they have money coming in, but they don't know how much money they're making, if they're making money, and how do you get them to the point where they feel like, okay, these are my financial goals. This is where I am. This is where I want to go.
Yeah, this is a great process. So let's take a gym owner who they have a point of sale system, right? They're collecting payments from their clients. They have a credit card, maybe a line of credit or a loan, and maybe even selling some merchandise at the gym. So they might have a second point of sale system or a PayPal. What we do is after that initial onboarding call, where we learn about the goals and the inner workings of that business, we'll go through and we'll take all of the transactions and all of the information from each of those sources. So as you're out spending money and making money, we're pulling in all those transactions. If this is somebody who does not have an accounting system set up yet, we will set up our clients with an accounting system. When I say that, people are like, oh, I don't want to have to do it. I don't want to log in. Don't worry. I tell clients all the time, you don't actually ever have to log into QuickBooks if you don't want. We will run any report that you want ran. We will be the ones in the system. We'll set up their chart of accounts in a way that makes sense for business owners. So this is a novel concept. Most accounting systems and accountants set up the chart of accounts and set up your financial statements so that you can file your taxes at the end of the year. Yes, that is important. You need to be able to file your taxes, but more importantly to me, I want you to grow your business. So I need you to be able to read those financials and understand them, and then be meaningful to you so that you can read the story that your numbers are trying to tell you. So we set up your financials. I always say it's for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs. So we set it up in a way that you can use that information. From there, like I said, we'll take all those transactions, we'll pull them into the system, we'll reconcile the accounts at the end of the month, and then we'll send you all of your financial statements in a monthly email. We have a lot of people who I know, they say, okay, there's that big, hairy, ugly Excel file. I'm not opening that email. I understand. So we started putting right in the body of the email some basic key performance indicators, so that if you don't ever open that Excel file, you have some key numbers for your business. So sales, are you on track for your goal? Are you growing compared to last year or last quarter? Where are you spending the most money, and does that align with your goal? And then most importantly, are you operating at a profit or a loss? And how much do you need to set aside for taxes? So key information. And then from there, we encourage all of our clients to set up a 30-minute call to review their financials. And then we can run any other financial analysis that will help that gym owner figure out the story that their numbers are trying to tell them.
Gotcha. And that's a great point, because the kind of working title I've given this podcast is "Do Numbers Drive Your Business or Cash?" Because I know a lot of owners, they come in, and as long as there's cash in the account, I got money, but they don't know what's out or what's coming down the stream, or what kind of income they're going to have the following month or anything like that. So do you want to explain the difference between having numbers drive your business versus cash?
Yeah. So look, cash is king. You can't spend money that you don't have. So I never want to dismiss that is important. But the biggest difference between your profit and your cash is timing of expenses. So you might have a client who has paid you in advance and then will continue to come to your classes in the future or use those training sessions in the future. And so you might have to pay your staff to train that individual, even though you got the cash for that client several months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that's in this industry, that's going to be a big thing, is just your timing between when you're receiving the cash and then when you have to pay the operating expenses associated with that revenue. Another good example of this is if you purchase any type of equipment, right? You might finance the equipment on a credit card or a line of credit. And so, you'll have a cash outlay throughout the next several months, but that is different than what it's going to look like on your financial statements and how you're going to prepare for year-end taxes. So the biggest thing is going to be timing. And the reason why understanding whether or not you're profitable in accounting terms is so important, because that is what you're going to use to file your taxes at the end of the year. And one of the things that we do with our clients as we move through the year, especially towards the end of the year, is say, okay, we have this large profit this year, and maybe we don't want to have to pay that much in taxes. What expenses can we pay for in quarter 4 so that we can reduce that tax liability for this year? Maybe it's the other direction. Maybe we have a huge loss this year. We invested in equipment and staff and systems. And so maybe we took a big loss this year. And so we might want to delay paying for conferences or any other large expenses, maybe that business coach you've been eyeing. Maybe we hold off in Q4 and make that purchase next year so that it can reduce your profit in the following year. So when you know these numbers, you can make behavior changes in your business so that you're doing them strategically.
Yeah, so you can have strategic planning on how you want to grow and what direction you want to grow in your business. And let me know if you've ever heard of this scenario from a business owner who wants to hire you. Well, I've prepared my taxes and they said I made this much money this year and I owe this much to the government and I don't have any money.
Oh, says all my clients. So there's, look, there's making estimated taxes. We encourage all of our clients, when we send you those financial statements, we're telling you if you're profitable or not. And so we'll also give you a tax estimate. So we'll say, hey, either pay this into the IRS as your estimated payment, or at a minimum, put it away in a separate savings account. So for all of your listeners, if you are not making estimated payments, go open up a separate savings account so that you can start transferring money throughout the year, so that you are prepared for the end of the year. And look, at the end of the day, if you don't have the cash, make sure you still file your tax return, guys. We hear this all the time. I don't have money to pay my taxes, so I'm just not going to file. Pay your taxes or file your taxes. You can always make a payment plan with the IRS. There is options. You don't want to start going down the road of penalties and interest. And the longer you go, the more daunting it seems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree 100%. So the first step is ask for help.
Yeah.
Seek out somebody, face your fears, face your numbers. And then from there, you can start strategically planning, like budgeting, and for taxes, for business expense, for the growth of a business, continued ed, whatever it may be, so that you can kind of start to look at the bigger picture of your business. So that's the first level. Where do people normally go after that? Your clients.
So the big next step is really budgeting. So really laying out, especially, well, actually, I want to take that back. I do not want anyone waiting for the beginning of the year to set a budget. It does not matter if it's January, July, or October. The next tier of clients, they want their financials done, and then they want to be able to set a budget, look at their goals for the year. So maybe my goal this year is I want to grow my top level revenue. I really want to bring in revenue into my business this year. And in order to do that, I need to host 3 events, live events. I need to do some Facebook advertising. And I really need to up my marketing. So I'm going to get a marketing consultant. So this year is going to be all about putting forth a budget so that we know how much you can afford to spend in your marketing efforts, how much you expect to bring in revenue to support those marketing efforts. And then when do you need to start hiring staff, right? So at what point do you need to bring on more people, and when can you afford it? And so we go through and set that budget. And then every month when we send you your actual financial statements, so your actual performance, we'll monitor that against your budget so that you know how you're performing.
Gotcha. All right.
Yep.
And then that allows you to kind of focus in on some key areas and really try to drive that growth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And here's the other big thing is, in this industry, there's a lot of similarities, but there's a lot of differences. And there's something that you might want to know about your business. So, the big term that accounting professionals love to throw around is KPIs, so key performance indicators.
Mm-hmm.
And these key performance indicators can really help you understand the seasons of your business and the story that your business is trying to tell you. So when you can determine what you want to know about your business, when you know what you want to know about your business, you can start to calculate those key performance indicators and then monitor them over time. And so we can do that for our clients. So we can do those indicators, monitor them each month, and then help them decipher the story that those numbers are trying to tell them.
Gotcha. Okay. And that makes sense. I know you're speaking in general terms. And so it's hard for some people to kind of visualize that without specifics. But I know for me, when Ivan started jumping into something simple like our membership prices, and are they priced correctly? Are they priced for us to make money? And which memberships are we making the most money on? Which ones are we not? All of those things. So he was, and there's my general manager for round 2. Say hello to everyone, Deb. Deb, say hello to Dannielle.
Hi.
But what I was saying was that we wanted to see which memberships we were making the most money on, if there was any that we were losing money on, things like that. So he was able to dive into those numbers and help us reverse engineer our pricing to make sure that everyone is making us money and the most popular ones are making us the most money. So would that be an example of something you would do for someone?
Yes, that's a perfect example. So your pricing, a lot of business owners in this industry will have us run, even if you have a class offering, which classes are making you the most money? Does it make sense to continue to offer those? Does your hours of operation make sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when are most of your members coming in? Does it make sense to keep the lights on and the staff in place at those downtimes? So looking at those types of decisions. And then as you look at bringing on additional equipment, being able to determine your return on those cash investments as well.
Yeah. Like I hear Ivan tells me and a bunch of other people, everything in your business should be geared toward generating revenue. If you're spending money, it should be geared toward generating revenue in some form, shape.
Yeah, absolutely. Or to be able to do your job better, right?
Yeah.
I think that's I am the one. When I was in corporate accounting, I worked as a CFO, and I was one of the only CFOs that you'd hear walking around saying, "Well, what's best for our customers?" Because if you're not able to service your customers, they're going to go down the street, right? And they might love you, but you need to continue to improve what you're doing, improve your education, how you're servicing your clients. And so sometimes there are softer expenses that there might be a system out there that allows you to service that client better. Or maybe there's a system that allows you to spend less time on the administrative tasks, and therefore it gets you on the floor. But those are some operational things to consider as well.
I gotcha. All right. And so I know that's what I was looking for, because I had a bookkeeper who could tell me quarterly estimated and file my taxes at the end of the year. But I was looking for somebody who could help me understand the numbers, as you said so well, understand the story that the numbers were telling me about my business. And understand how my business is working or not working on a different level from a financial aspect, and somebody who can help me, because I've been training for 30 years. I know how to train people. I know how to work with people, all of those things, but I don't necessarily know how to budget a business. I don't know. And also which of my marketing efforts is paying off. Where can I save money or double down on those? Is my payroll too high? Or there any expenses that are unnecessary? All of those things. So I needed somebody who knew numbers, who could dive in and help me understand that, so that I could be a little bit more proactive, and then just instead of just reactive of, do I have money or do I not have the money? If the money's in the bank, then I'm buying it. If I don't, I'm not. That's not really strategic planning. That's kind of knee-jerk finances. And so it's hard to really take your business to the next level with that kind of planning. So I needed something, and I don't have the skill set, and I have zero interest in acquiring that skill set. So that's where Ivan came in.
Not going to be efficient for you.
Yeah, right, exactly. And that's where you guys come in. So to help people like me, like us in this industry. So I agree with you 100%. So the top level of service that you guys offer, give us some examples as a former CFO, now part-time CFO, that you can really help people take their business to the next level.
Yeah. So the top tier plan, it really just gets more off your plate. So our top tier plan means that we're doing your cash management. So we have a signature framework that we follow for a weekly cash dashboard. We send it to all of our CFO level clients on Monday morning. And that tells you where your cash is today, what money we expect to come in this week, what payments are coming up. So any consultants, employees, maybe some vendors, if you holding a product, any inventory payments coming up, what your sales are month to date, quarter to date, year to date. And so they're getting this dashboard every week. And then we're going in and we're actually paying all of those bills for them. So that's really not occupying their headspace, right? So we're completely managing the accounting process for them. And this dashboard is killer, because we had a client this past year who she had launched a whole nother line of business, and she was super excited to really scale her business. And in order for her to service that line, she had to bring on a group of 1099 consultants to work with her so that she can service these clients. Well, we kept on sending her this weekly dashboard, and she kept on seeing her cash do this, go down and down and down. And she's watching her line of credit and her credit cards dwindling. And she had these giant, she did have additional revenue coming in, but it was costing her a lot of money. And she always says to us, thank God you were sending me that dashboard every week, because it made me quickly realize that this new line was actually going to bankrupt me. And so within 6 months, she actually terminated the line and niched her business back down. But she was able to realize that she wasn't profitable in doing it. So that's just a good way to see how that type of information can help you drive that business decision.
Yeah, absolutely. I know in my case, what Ivan helped us to discover was that our most popular membership was losing us money.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the majority of our clients were on that membership. And so we had to change our pricing. So otherwise we were going to be in the same boat as the client you just mentioned. So yeah, it can definitely have a dramatic impact in your business for sure. On a personal note, it's like I want my business to be able to, I'm not looking to get you know, Warren Buffett rich or Bill Gates
Yeah.
rich. But I do want enough financial security to do some things that I want to do. One of which is spend time with people I want, spend time with my family. And I don't want to have to go home to my wife and say, hey, look, we can't take this vacation this year, or, we
Yeah.
can't go out to dinner this year, or things like that. And then I turn into a hype man, but we got this big special, January is coming up. It's going to turn around. I don't want to be the hype man. I want to be like just that guy that's there, stable, providing all of that. But I need to make some cold, hard business decisions. It's my business. It's not a hobby. As much it is my passion, it is a business. And the job of business is to make money.
Yeah, absolutely. My word of the year every year is consistent. And I think what you just said is that you want to be able to consistently show up in your business. You want to consistently be able to show up at home,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to be able to consistently live your life in a way that makes you happy and serves your family. Um, for anybody who is sitting there thinking, I still am not ready to call. I'm not ready to call. I'm not ready to let somebody in. We did create the Profit Planner book series, so that if there are people who are saying, I want to get a whole handle on this on my own, there are options out there. So I don't want you to think that the only way to get help is to go out and get outside help. You can start with these books. It's a 12-week planner. Every week there's a goal, and we break that goal down into bite-sized pieces every day. So you have an action task for every day. And I mention that because I know that there's some people who are thinking this is overwhelming. And so I want to break it down for you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And you got to start small for sure. You can't think, oh, I'm going to dive into everything, because it'll be like a tsunami in information. You won't be able to understand any of it. You got to start definitely, like you said, small, digestible bite size, so that you can, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but you got to start somewhere. Okay. And then, so talk us through, like, how long do you usually keep clients? How long do clients stay with you? I know we talked about this before, but if you want to share that with the listeners.
Yeah, so we actually have a very, very low attrition rate. When clients come on board, they love our services. So I actually was just thinking about a client who she's been with us for 5 years, and so I was just getting ready to send her an anniversary thank you card and thank you gift, because she's been with us 5 years since we started the business, and that's not an anomaly. Our clients stay with us. We really try to support them in every way we can and remind our clients that we're here for them. So if those basic financials and basic KPIs don't work for you anymore, then call us and we'll change what we're doing. We're um, although we're a growing team, we're still a boutique accounting firm, and we're here to live our passion, which is helping our clients. And we're very lucky that we've been able to have these long standing relationships.
That's awesome. So, like, your client, take us through, like, some of your long standing clients. Like, what were they like when they first came to you versus now? Like, what were their problems then? What are their issues now?
Yeah, so I have a yoga studio that came to us right down the street from my house here in Cleveland. And when she originally came to us, she actually thought she was going to have to shut her doors. She was very overwhelmed, very frustrated. She had, that she had a point of sale system that she was collecting payments from clients and a bank account. And all she did every morning was log into her bank account and watch the cash dwindle. And she couldn't go to a bank and get a loan because she didn't have financial statements. And she was trying to find investors, but she didn't have financial statements.
Hmm.
It's just a perpetual cycle, right? And she felt like it. I remember that first day I had that discovery call with her. She was just ready to pull her hair out. So, we got her the accounting system. We got her those financials, and what we actually learned was that she needed to make a few tweaks. She didn't realize that she was actually spending way too much money in the systems to support this business and her contractors. And so she made some changes in her business, and year over year, we've watched her become more profitable. The issues that she has now are bigger issues, such as, uh, you know, uh, do I open that third location?
Hmm.
So we helped her about a year ago open her second location, which was really exciting. And she was able to go to that bank. She was able to give them those financial statements, and she was able to take out that loan with confidence. And now we're looking at, does she want to open up a third location? And then we can look at, since it's in a different area of town, how can we price those services according to where they are located, and get deeper into that type of analysis.
That's awesome. So when she first came to you, she was afraid that she was going to have to close the doors.
Hmm.
And 5 years later, she's planning on opening her third studio.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a pretty strong statement. But, unfortunately, I think that's what it takes for some owners is
Hmm.
for them to think, okay, I'm going to be out of business. I need help,
Yeah.
to before they ask for that kind of financial help.
It's hitting rock bottom.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hitting rock bottom. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, do you have any other stories about long-term clients that you can share with the listeners?
Yeah, we did have another studio. They're actually not here in town. They are in New Mexico, and she's another one that I talk a lot about goal setting and knowing what you want from your business, because she came to us about 3 years ago. We I don't want to make it sound like by hiring us, we're going to help you create a profitable business, because
Mhm.
it's not a get rich quick scheme, right? It's bookkeeping, it's accounting,
Mhm.
it's knowledge.
Right.
But what we were able to do with her is help her understand where she was today, and um, and she actually wanted to keep her business consistent. She said, I could take this and I could scale and open multiple locations and continue to grow. She said, but I like having this boutique gym, and I want to be a familiar face to my clients, and I want the staff to know our clients personally. And so what we did with her was help her become more profitable in what she was offering as that boutique firm. And she's killing it today. She's more profitable than she's ever been, but she's still servicing her clients, because that was her goal. Her
Mhm.
goal was to be able to be the one servicing them, but still be able to take home a paycheck to her family.
Yeah. And those are both great stories. And just overcoming that fear of dealing and knowing with the numbers is what you need to get in control of your business. So I know we talked before we started recording, we were talking about the number one things that people ask for when they first come to you, which is like, help me get control of my numbers, understand them better, yada, yada, yada. So, well, what are some of the things that you see that they need when they first come to you, but they don't see it?
Yeah. So a lot of times people are coming to me because they have to file their tax return, right?
Mhm.
It's time to file taxes, or they're embarrassed because their business coach or mentor, family is asking how their business is doing, spouse, and they're not able to give them that information. But what I see that they need is confidence, right?
Mhm.
They're not making the right business decisions today because they're operating out of a place of fear and ignorance. And I know what they need is the right the right information, the right knowledge, and the right stories, so that they feel confident to start making better business decisions.
When you say stories, what do you mean?
So I always say that your numbers are trying to tell you a story. So history, when you are able to look back at that history, it is trying to tell you, what is the seasonality of my business? What months What months? Sorry, I thought I was silenced.
That's okay.
Yeah. What months? What are my peak months? Right.
Hmm.
What did I do right during those peak months that brought in those surges? When am I spending the most money? Did that spending help me in my business? Did it help me align with my goals? Those types of analysis. Did that line of credit that I took out to buy new equipment, did I make the revenue back? Right? Did that help bring on new clients? So those are the types of stories that I encourage clients to start looking at.
Yeah. I know for me, like two of the biggest things most recently that really had an impact on me since we started working with Ivan is marketing budget. So we used to spend like $3,000 a month on Facebook for our
Wow.
marketing budget. And then we get a lot of drive-by traffic because we live right off a busy road. So we started putting up these banners with whatever marketing, thing we were going with at that time. And the banners cost, like the last one was 170 bucks. So our last banner was 170 bucks and we got 12 clients from that banner
Wow.
that signed annual contracts with an average EFT of around 280. Let's say 300 to make the math easy because I'm not good at math. You're better at math than I am. So 300 a month times 12 months. So that's 3,600 bucks per client times 12 for $170. I'm going to do a lot more banners.
Yeah, you are. Yes,
versus like Facebook. First of all, Facebook changed their algorithm, and I'm not downing on Facebook. I'm just saying that it's hard to track it with Facebook. And $3,000 is a lot. I mean, I got to get at least 2 clients per month to pay for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I can get 12 for 160, then I'm going to do that. But I have to have that information. Like you said, I have to be armed with that information and educated about those numbers in order to make that decision so that I can save money and grow the business at the same time, cut back on expenses.
Yeah.
So I think that's huge.
Yeah, we see this a lot. We see as businesses start to grow and they bring in more revenue, they get really excited, right? They're like, yeah, cash is rolling in. And so they go and they hire additional staff, or they buy the fancy systems or the fancy equipment. And we're watching the revenue increase, but we're watching the expenses soar. And so that's something that we like to monitor over time. So looking at your operating expenses year over year, even month over month, I like to watch them month over month, will help you see, your operating expenses should not be exceeding your revenue. And so being able to monitor what's growing and what's decreasing throughout time is really important as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Because if you're in the red, that's not good. You can't stay there for very long and still be in business. And then another idea that that Ivan helped me with quite a bit, and I shared about this on the last podcast, is I belong to a mastermind group because these days, who doesn't? But
Right.
I was talking to one of the guys in the mastermind group, and he says, "Well, so what I do is I pick like a handful of clients, and I offer them a year paid in advance membership, get 13 months for the price of 12. And that way I get this, cash bump at the beginning of the year." So I ran that past Ivan. I said, "Look, I'm thinking about, handpicking like 10 clients or so and cashing them out." He says, "That's a terrible idea." I said, "Well, what do you mean?" And he said, "Well, first of all, you're cashing them out. So you're getting all the money up front, and you still got expenses that you're going to have to pay for another 13 months for money that you've already received. And it's going to decrease your EFT, your electronic funds transfer, by $5,000 a month. So not only are you having to pay expenses that you've already got the money for, but now you're having less recurring income month to month." He said, "You'd be better off, sir, just to get a line of credit and then pay that money back as you use it at a competitive interest rate." And I was like, okay, that makes sense when you put the numbers together. Because right, my mind thinks like, oh, I got cash. Ooh, cash to operate
Money.
with. Right, exactly. But then he comes in and says, no, Jim, let's sit down. let's have an adult conversation here, so, and then he walks me through it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. So thank God I ran that past him, but like little things like that can have a big impact, positive and negative, on your business. And if I didn't have somebody to bounce that idea off of, I probably would have ran with it,
Yeah.
so it's nice to have you guys to bounce that idea off of. So how does that work? How do you build that into the system? Do you do regular like updates, phone conferences? How does that work?
Yeah. So all of our clients are on flat monthly rates. So one of the biggest things for me, I do not want our clients to think, oh shoot, I have to call my accountant. The clock is ticking and the cash register is dinging.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's on a flat monthly rate. So if you had something that came up in the middle of the month that you just wanted to run an idea by us, you could email us, or you have every client is given a dedicated bookkeeper, or you just take your dedicated bookkeeper's scheduling link and schedule a time with them, and you can set up 30 minutes to throw that idea at them, or you shoot them an email and they'll get back to you. We will always send you the financials at the end of the month with those basic
KPIs,
key performance indicators.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll also have the link to the calendar. And so we always tell clients, the ROI you get on our services is up to you. So schedule the call, present the problems, come to us and ask the questions and get the help that you need.
Mm-hmm.
But you're in charge.
Like we always tell our clients, you want results? Show up, listen to what I say, you will get results. So guess what? When you hire a coach, you show up, you listen to what they say, and you will get results, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. But you have to put in the work, and that's sometimes we do find we have clients who come to us and they don't schedule the time, and they don't ask us the questions. And so we reach out every month and say, we're here. But you gotta come to us and ask the questions. But so they have a monthly touch point that they can take advantage of. But again, always here to answer questions, because let's face it, in entrepreneurship, things don't wait for the end of the month. When you have an idea, you want to do it now. I mean, could you imagine if you had to wait till the end of the month to ask him that question? You would have possibly ran with it,
Oh, I used to run with everything. And that's the problem, is that as entrepreneurs, we tend to be kind of take charge, ask for permission, ask for forgiveness, not permission. This is, I'm going to do it. But the problem is like, well, it's my business. I don't have to answer to anybody. But yeah, I do. I do have to answer to people. I got to answer to my clients. I got to answer to my employees. I got to answer to my family. I got a lot of people I answer to. So there's a lot of people that are affected by the decisions that I make, even though it's my business. So I better take those people into consideration. So if there's anything financial that's going on, any financial decision I need to make, I'm talking to Ivan, or I'm talking to you guys before I make it, because that can affect the whole scheme. That could be just one cog in the machine that can throw everything off if I'm not careful. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, I'm so glad he gave you the advice he did, because we see so many of our clients that want to run discounts and pay in full now, and we see it really hurt them in the end. The only time that has worked for a client is if they're trying to make up for losses from the previous year and they need that bump in cash. But so I'm so glad he gave you that advice. And to anybody who's thinking about making a decision like that, remember to look forward and make sure you're looking at what's coming.
Or call Dannielle and she can straighten you out.
Or call me. We whip people into shape.
Right, exactly. Financially. So I want to respect your time. I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're busy. So I always finish up with a round of questions at the end. They're not gotcha questions, but it's my favorite part of the show, because we get some of the biggest nuggets of gold from these questions, at least in my judgment. And it's my show, so that's what I'm going to do.
So you get to be the judge.
Exactly right. The test for what comes on the podcast is if I'm interested in it or not. So it's pretty low bar. But anyway, so what ask people is, what has been your most successful failure? And by that, I mean, at the time, it seemed like a devastating loss that you weren't going to be able to recover from, but you were able to take life lessons from that and use that information to propel you to greater success down the road.
Yeah, I think um, it was one of the bookkeepers that we lost early on. So I had made a hiring decision. She came into the firm, and spent a ton of time in training, getting her in front of clients, and I didn't have a company culture yet, and she quit on us, and uh, that time investment is always something that you think, man, I spent a lot of time on training that person, but in the long run, we learned a lot, and we learned that we have to create a company culture, and we needed to um, do a better job and more efficient job in training our employees, and making this a great place that they want to work, and finding people who are passionate. Not everyone's going to be passionate about wanting to help other entrepreneurs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, now I've learned that I just don't think she had the passion. I don't think she had the passion and the drive. And maybe I didn't do a good enough job communicating what was driving this firm. And we do that is top of priority now, is finding people who are passionate about helping other entrepreneurs, and communicating that to our employees.
Nice. So, what are some of the things that you implemented to create that culture? Because that's such a big word, and I feel like it's such a nebulous word that people have a hard time, like, being concise about describing that.
Yeah, and that's a good point. So we created a training system. So every bookkeeper who comes on now goes through a training system, and they get a training partner. So we have another bookkeeper who comes along and is their training partner. So it really creates a camaraderie. And then they go through a series of training videos and tests, questionnaires, to help make sure that they're prepared, and that they are approaching clients with the same thought, and the same structure. I mean, accounting can be done in a very simple way, but we want it done in a way that really services clients. So we put them through that training system and partner with another accountant. I have a little bit of a different situation because all of my team is actually virtual. So
Hmm.
they all work from their homes. So it is creating a place where they can all communicate with one another, that they feel appreciated and applauded. And so my job as a leader is to make sure that I share the thank you notes that I get from clients, and I make sure that they are well compensated and well appreciated, and that they feel like they're a part of a family and not just working for some accounting firm from Cleveland, Ohio.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All good points. Um, I like that quite a bit because culture, everybody wants to create quote unquote culture. But I always take the stance that by culture, you mean behavior. You want them to exhibit certain types of behavior. So
Yes.
you want to encourage and train them to that behavior.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then my next question is I know you guys don't do exclusively fitness business, but you guys do a pretty good job with the fitness industry. So, since you guys have been operating in the fitness industry space, what has been the biggest surprise that you've had to deal with that you did not see coming?
The biggest surprise I didn't see coming: the complexity of how many different options that you can use to deliver your services to clients, and how you um, y- you know different membership types, right? Different class types, different packages. As somebody who is pretty passionate about fitness, and I've always belonged to several different gyms and participated in classes, uh, digging into it from a different perspective, and not as a customer, right? As a business owner, just really learning goes into each of those packages in each of those classes. I mean, if you think about it, you have to pay for a space, right? And so you have to think about how are you optimizing that space and getting the most revenue out of it. So if you're somebody who's holding classes, you need to make sure that you are filling those classes with as much revenue as possible. And so we have some KPIs that we talk about with square footage and revenue by square foot. And so I did not expect how many different options there were to look at and to analyze when we got into this.
Yeah, as far as different ways that you can skin the same cat.
Mhm.
So that's an interesting point because you've always been kind of a consumer of
Correct.
fitness, and now you're operating on the business side. So how has that changed your perspective as a consumer?
I come in with such appreciation. Um, and I think honestly that goes with everything that I do,
Mhm.
because when we want to shop small business. When I buy something, I want to buy it from a small business. We were in the grocery store last week. I took my daughter grocery shopping with me, and I went to one grocery store and I bought a bottle of wine, and then we had to make one more stop, and it was another grocery store. And I picked up another bottle of wine. She's like, well, I thought you just bought wine. I said, yeah, but this is a local winery from right down the street. And I just have to support them because I'm so impressed that they got distribution in this grocery store.
Yeah, so you can understand it, right? Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a
Yeah.
deeper appreciation. Okay.
Yeah. And so you don't want to go to a chain. I don't go to the chains anymore. I go to somebody who I can meet the owner and I can talk to them and share our fitness stories and our
Yeah.
journeys. And so
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good story. So support local, train local.
yes,
I like
absolutely.
that. Okay. So I know you have the Profit series books, but
Mhm.
where do you go? What do you do? What do you read for personal and professional development?
So on my Audible that I'm listening to at this very moment is David Goggins' biography. So I'm listening to that right now.
Who's
Uh,
David
I'm
Goggins?
He is a ultra marathoner. He was a Navy SEAL.
Okay,
Check him
gotcha.
out. Check out his book. He is hardcore. Really, really like him. I'm into Spartan racing. So next up on my Audible list is the CEO of Spartan. It's his book up next. So
Okay, awesome, awesome. How many Spartan races have you done?
we've done 10 this year.
Holy
Yeah,
shit!
yeah.
So you're like crawling around in the mud and everything.
I love it. Yep, crawling around in
Yeah.
the mud, doing the monkey bars. We just did the beast, so it was 13 miles, 30 obstacles, and we're gonna train for the ultra next year, which is 30 miles, 60 obstacles.
Oh,
I can't wait. It's so fun.
oh my God. Okay. And do you there mastermind groups for accountants?
There is. There's a few. I generally try to stay more business than
Okay.
accountants. I think that what we're doing at Kickstart is so different than most other bookkeeping and accounting firms.
Yep. I agree with
So
you there.
yeah, it's it's really different. So I don't get as much value from that. So I generally try to participate in masterminds that are more business related.
Gotcha. So are you a member of any?
This is a women's based group called Biz Chicks. It's called Profit Chicks.
What's it
It's
called again?
Profit Chicks.
Okay.
The owner is Natalie Egdahl. She is the owner of Biz Chicks. Um, based for women, but she has a lot of the same values that I do in driving home profits, getting help in your business, learning how to delegate, scaling and growing a team. A lot of the same values. So whether you're a man or a woman, check her out because she has a lot of knowledge to share.
Gotcha. All right. Good information. So where can people find you, get in touch with you, find out more information, all that good stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So Uh, if you're interested in the planner, you can find me at profitplannerbookkeeping.com. And I actually have a gift for all your listeners, 15% off if you use the code Masters in Fitness. And then if you're interested in learning more about the accounting services, if you need a part-time CFO, I would love for you to schedule a discovery call. You'll talk to me personally. It's calendly.com/kickstart accounting. And I'm on all the social media, Facebook, Instagram. I love chatting with the listeners. So you can find me at Dannielle Hayden -OH.
Awesome. Awesome. And all of those links will be in the show notes. So just click on, go to Masters MIFB. The new website should be up by then, and it's pretty slick looking. So I'm pretty pumped about it. But MIFB.com, click on this episode of the podcast and all the links to contact Dannielle, sorry, and get the planner will be right there. Dannielle, thanks for coming on the show. This has been great.
Yeah, this has been fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's so nice to talk to a CPA who doesn't talk like a CPA.
Yes. It's one of a kind. Whenever I'm hiring, I'm like, oh,
right.
Lighten up.
Right. Exactly. Hey, you want to go outside and roll around in the mud? No.
Let's do some burpees.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Dannielle. And I would love you reserve the right to have you back on the show sometime, because this has been
I would
great.
be happy to. Yeah, I would love to continue the conversation.
Because I think this is such a valuable niche in the fitness industry, because like I said, most trainers, they hate numbers. They don't want to do anything with them, but you need it if you're going to be running a business, especially if you want to run your business instead of have your business run you. I think it's so, so valuable.
Amen. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thanks, and have a good rest of your day.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.